For more on this, Amin Saikal joins me now from Australia's capital, Canberra. He's a Professor Emeritus of Middle Eastern Studies at the Australian National University. Thank you so much for being with us, Amin. Firstly, I want to ask you about the reports that the Israeli army is preparing to withdraw from the Philadelphi Corridor, the strip of land that includes the Rafah crossing, of course. It's been quite an obstacle in ceasefire talks. How significant is it that Netanyahu has relinquished this?
Well, I think it is important, and it was an obstacle, and it's a first step towards hopefully withdrawal of Israeli forces from the rest of the Strip. But of course, the ceasefire is not finalized. At this stage, we really don't know how long more is going to take. And of course, both sides have got demands which they have not really met. There has been a lot of optimism about the ceasefire before, and that's got nowhere. But this time, I think there's a lot more confidence, which is expressed by the Americans and by the Qataris, as well as by Egyptians. But let's see how it's going to really pan out.
Does this withdrawal of troops from that area, should it give people hope and optimism in Gaza who are hoping, praying for a ceasefire?
Well, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the people of Gaza are absolutely desperate, and they want peace, and whatever signs are given to them, that make them very hopeful. But of course, they also know that there have been promises in the past and have not been fulfilled. So I think the people of Gaza sort of faces a dilemma that what if the ceasefire comes into force, what is that really going to mean for them? Will Israel still control Gaza from the air? Will it still have the freedom to operate against the people of Gaza and, of course, the Strip as a whole? Will the Israelis really withdraw from northern Gaza? Will they allow that corridor, which they have carved between North Gaza and South Gaza, to reopen, and therefore the people could come to North Gaza and the aid should arrive to North Gaza? I think these are the issues that we can only find out if there is a ceasefire, and the details of the ceasefire are really put out by the negotiators.
And we understand that that deal is imminent, either coming in the coming hours or the coming days. But we also heard from Antony Blinken about plans for a post-war Gaza. Of course, there's no guarantee that the future administration will follow through with those plans. But what are your predictions? What do you envisage will become of the enclave in the future?
Well, the outgoing Secretary of State, Mr. Blinken, has also said that Hamas has now recruited as many people, as many fighters that it had lost in the war to Israel. In other words, Hamas is still a living phenomenon in Gaza. Of course, its capability is largely reduced, but nonetheless, they are still putting up resistance from time to time, and that's why the Israelis are really carrying out massive bombardment, and as a result, more and more people are killed. So what is really, it is very difficult at this point to really predict what's really going to happen, but we also know that there are ministers within the Mr. Netanyahu's cabinet that they do want the northern Gaza to be opened for establishment of Israeli settlements, and therefore possible annexation of northern Gaza. But again, we really have to wait for the details of this ceasefire and when it also comes into force.
Amin Saikal joining us from Australia's capital. Thank you so much for your analysis here on TRT World.